Parsha Behaalotecha, we have a number of different situations, challenging situations where unfortunately Klal Yisrael fell short, and one of them is the issue of the Slav. They wanted meat, Zacharnus Hadaga, started creating all types of images of the good old days, what how things used to be. And a lot of it was just really also gives us an insight into the way the Yetzer Hara operates, trying to come up with really excuses that cover up the real issue, what you're dealing with, and what your real agenda is. But a really incredibly important lesson we learn from what Moshe Rabbeinu responded and how the Sephron explains it. So, Yishma Moshe Sam Bochel Mishpachosav Ishal Pesach Olo. They're all discussing and complaining at the doorway, each one at their own tent. Rashi says again, there was an agenda. Iske Mishpachosav. It was about the laws of Arayis. That this was an issue that they somehow had a lot of discomfort with and a lot of angst about. They just were not happy with it. But right now, the issue was really the meat. And so Moshe says, HaKadosh Baruch Hu seemingly almost lashes out. Why are you putting this entire nation upon me? Why am I have to deal with all these trials and tribulations, trying to find them meat in the desert? Did I give birth to these people? Did I conceive them? Did I give birth to them? I should carry them, literally like the mother carries its offspring. To take them in Teretz Yisrael on my back. Where am I going to find mainly basar? Where am I going to find meat for these people? Okay, as they're complaining to me. So the Sephron says something which I think is very profound in terms of, especially in today, we hear a lot of these different issues of, considerations the parents have in raising children, and what is really required. So what exactly was Moshe saying? What's giving birth got to do with anything over here? He conceived them, he gave birth to them. I mean, just get to the point. I don't have any meat. How do you expect me to give these people meat in the desert? Where am I going to get meat from? But he goes through this seemingly almost sarcastic kind of statement. So the Sephron says that Moshe Rabbeinu was not being sarcastic, Chas v'sholom. He was actually trying to make a point of his lack of leadership and what is required for leadership. And he says, a father is able to lead his children, even though those children have very disparate attitudes about things. They might have very different personalities. But there is an ability of a parent to create that kind of leadership in the home so that the kids will follow. Why? Because they all have this inner conviction that my parent loves me. You care about me. You love me. Because you will try and put in every effort to benefit them. That is the criteria of what a child will need to see. And this is really what the litmus test, in a sense, and this is why it's so critical that we don't use calculations, of brothers and sisters, and then the neighborhoods and neighbors, and what people are going to say, and your sister's shidduch. All these other calculations, they run against this criteria. The criteria is kikulam choshim osel oev shishtadel b'kolkoch leitav lem. They all consider the parent somebody who loves them. Also unconditionally, but that's not what he's focusing on right now. He says, but only to them. Leitiv lehem. You're focused on them. I will ela enam botchem b'klal. But Moshe Rabbeinu incredibly is saying, but these people, they don't trust me. They always are testing me. They're always trying to see, what is it that I'm going to do for them. They don't have this clear conviction, which is really another tremendous chiddush in its own right. That sometimes we think we're doing something wrong if sometimes that leadership and that commitment isn't understood, isn't appreciated. Why that somehow Klal Yisrael, who's not a child, not a child, but still is has been the recipient of so much good. But I guess when the Torah gets in and there's an agenda sort of not to want to appreciate that good, and here they have this incredible leader who nobody in human history has ever done for a people what Moshe Rabbeinu did, and yet Moshe Rabbeinu was honestly saying it didn't seem like he was wrong. HaKadosh Baruch Hu seemed to have granted the point and basically said, okay, so I'm going to, after this episode, we had additional people to help Moshe Rabbeinu, and the more prophets were appointed and were delegated to the people. But how is that possible? So Torah says, if we don't want to see it, if a person is a recipient of tremendous good, doesn't want to see it, then they will be blind to it. But the flip side is though what do they have to see for it to be successful? What do they have to see in order for them to feel I want to follow this person? I want to follow my father. I want to follow my mother. I want to go in this path. And certainly it's true for educators. It's truly for anybody in a position of leadership that this is something that's so critical that they have to see that your agenda is nothing but love for me. That there's no other calculation, no other consideration. Doesn't mean you're always going to be. Sometimes other things can get in as well. That it doesn't mean that's automatically going to happen. But if they don't feel that, then for sure you're not going to be successful. That needs to be the fundamental principle that guides a relationship of leadership. Where I'm asking you to follow me. I'm asking you to sort of get on board with my plan. And we as parents sometimes think, what do you mean? It's just an absolute right that I have. I'm your parent. You just have to follow me no matter what. It doesn't seem to work. Then doesn't seem Moshe Rabbeinu saying it's not going to happen. If they're not convinced, and then if we sometimes give fuel, to our children to somehow feel, and it's shocking because more than once I've had conversations, and kids are not convinced that their parents have this love for them. They're not convinced that no matter what would happen, you tell them that what do you mean your parent spends their whole life giving to you. And they would throw themselves in front of a truck for you in a second. But they don't see it. My parents this. My parents hate me. My parents don't like me. My parents, whatever it is. And I'm the black sheep. I'm the one who doesn't give them menachas. They have all these kinds of considerations that start flying around in their head. And if God forbid, so they might not be right. And if they're flying in their head, it's still a problem. But if we're not doing that and not thinking only of what's best for this particular child, not having other calculations, not other factors. HaKadosh Baruch Hu makes shidduchim. HaKadosh Baruch Hu runs the world. Our job, in terms of his chayvus as a parent, is to do what's best for this particular child. What does this individual need from me to make them convinced that I'm out only for their good? If you're not out only for my good, then why should I buy into your plan? It seems to be a very fundamental, built-in psychological idea of what it is that leadership needs to entail for the people who are asked to follow. What do they need to feel? What do they need to see? So Be'ez Hashem, certainly in today's world we have so many calculations and the word travels so fast. We're so into what the neighbors are going to say. We have to re-energize and refocus ourselves to realize that when it comes to raising children or dealing with Talmidim, they need to see there's only one issue, and that's what's best for this particular individual that's standing in front of me. Be'ez Hashem, we should be successful.